Hey everybody, what's going on? It is Pat from the Recaps. I'm the voice behind 98% of the recaps that you hear on the channel and all the videos and whatnot. Today we are giving you a spoiler-free review of the new Apple TV Plus show, The Big Door Prize. This hits screens, TV, phone, tablet, whatever, on March 29th. That's a Wednesday, and the first 3 episodes are going to be dropping, and then it's once a week after that. So big question is, what is the Big Door Prize? Big Door Prize is a 10-episode new series from Apple TV Plus. It is based off a book with the same name, The Big Door Prize, and it is a half-hour show, so you can breeze right through it. It's a super easy watch, and the premise of it is really interesting. So it's set in a small town in the middle of nowhere in America where everybody kind of knows everybody, and one night a mysterious machine just shows up in the general store. The owner of the store didn't order it. Nobody knows who dropped it off. Nobody knows where it came from. But one by one, people start checking it out. You got to put $2 in the machine. You punch in your social security number, not smart. And you put your fingerprints, also not smart. But what you get in return is to find out your true life potential. And people start becoming obsessed with this. It's no longer about what I could be or what I've become, but more of what I could have become and what I will be. And it throws the entire town for a loop. The town becomes obsessed with it. It becomes kind of a rating status of, let me see your card. No, let me see your card. And it's not all good. I mean, some things are great, like a meteorologist, and some things are bad, like a liar. So it really isn't necessarily about where the machine came from, which is what I thought the show would kind of be about, but more so about how these people in small town America are dealing with a kind of a shock to their system. Because a lot of them are adults who are finding out that their, quote, life potential isn't what they became. And now they're kind of second-guessing things. So let's get into some of the things that I liked about it. First of all, stars Chris O'Dowd, who is probably best known for being Officer Rhodes from the movie Bridesmaids. Really, really funny guy. The woman behind me and the guy behind me, they love him too. Don't know what they're doing, but... So he's the lead in the show. He plays a 40-year-old dad who's a teacher at a school, and he's kind of hesitant to even try out the machine because he just thinks it's dumb, and that's kind of a trend. A lot of people are joining in, but some people just don't really care. They find it stupid. They don't want to waste $2. Never at one point did they mention the not wanting to put in their social security number, but whatever. But he's the star, and he's very funny. He's a great guy in most things that he does, and this is no different. He doesn't play a bad guy for sure. He plays a really good, corny, cheesy character, and that's him to a T. The other guy that I loved in this show is a guy named Chris Segura, who is best known. The first thing I saw him in was a show called The Other Two, which you can find on HBO Max. It is a hilarious Comedy Central show that is a must-watch. Same thing, half hour. And just like in that show, in this show, he's very, very funny. In this show, he plays a former NHL goaltender named Giorgio, who has a hit Italian restaurant in the city, but he's also a little dumb, a little airheadish. But everybody knows him, and he's probably the biggest celebrity, and how he deals with his card and what he gets. So this show, I don't want to say it's the replacement for Ted Lasso, because there'll never be a replacement for Ted Lasso. But I definitely got the feeling of Apple trying to get a half-hour feel-good show to maybe fill a void when Ted Lasso isn't there. Because this show did leave it up for a season 2. So it's not probably going to be a one-off. I'd assume that there will be a season 2. Most of the actors aren't really well known, so it's probably a not real expensive show to make. So I do think that they maybe are trying to fill a little bit of a void there. But unlike Ted Lasso, where it's nothing but feel-good for the most part, barring a few sessions of Ted having a breakdown here and there and Nate going off, for the Big Door Prize for me, it had me thinking about what my potential would have been and what card I would have gotten, and have I even reached my full potential, and am I doing what I love, and the butterfly effect, the ripple effect, the sliding doors, if you will, of life, about what happened if I would have done this and that. So I kind of caught myself having, I don't want to say an existential crisis, but more of like a, not really, I think, what the makers of the TV show are going for, which is, hey, we want you to feel good and laugh at times and see what these characters are going through. But I was doing soul searching like while watching this show of, have I hindered people in my own life? Have I hindered my wife's potential by just marrying her? Could she have gone on to be greater than what she is now, which is great. So little things like that. I don't want to say I didn't like them, because I think it's good to have those self-reflective moments. But it just, I don't know if the writers of the show and the creators of the show were going for that necessarily. But I do think if you're an adult, you will have that. It was interesting, though, because what they did with the show is, while Chris O'Dowd's character is really the main piece, every episode kind of focused on another character in the show. And they were even named. Like, episode 4, I think, there's 5 is Giorgio. And episode 2 is Cass. And they go through the list of kind of the main characters on the show and what they got for their card, how they're dealing with it, because some of these characters are going through tragedy. The small town that they lived in was struck by tragedy when one of the high school players ended up dying in a car accident. And it's such a small town that it affected pretty much close to everybody. But how they're dealing with the cards and getting them and whatnot. So I like the fact that they didn't just dive into one big story. They dove into a little bit of story here. The next episode, we're going to cover this guy. Next episode, we're going to cover this guy, while keeping the same tone of kind of the backdrop of Chris O'Dowd and his family and his character, and dealing with getting these cards and dealing with the what they call the Morpho machine. So I liked it, and I will watch season 2, and I did find it to be a very, very, very easy watch. I wouldn't necessarily say, though, that I loved it and I was clamoring for more, like Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso, you came out and you were feeling great, and it was, I think, what everybody needed during the pandemic was a show like that. And this show isn't necessarily as great as Ted Lasso, but it is a very, very solid show. And I think the big thing with this one is it is only 30 minutes. And with the first 3 episodes dropping and an episode dropping once a week, you're going to breeze through this thing so quickly, and you're going to blink and it's going to be over. And I think that we need more shows that are 30 minutes and that's it, because I don't know about you guys out there, but me, finding a show that's an hour long at times can be difficult. So I liked a lot of the aspects of this show. I like the small town America feel, because I'm not from a small town. I'm from the birthplace of America, Philadelphia. Go Phils. Go Phils. Not a Phillies hat. Thought I was wearing a Phillies hat. So hit thumbs down for that. I'm wearing a Frisco Rough Riders hat. So I'm wearing a small town hat. This thing has completely gone off the rails, and I don't like stopping, so we're just going to keep going and ignore that. At the end of the day, look, very good show. I thought it wasn't an incredible show. I think it's going to be one of those slow burn shows that you're going to be hearing about over the water cooler. Hey, did you check this out? And I think it is worth your time. I was never bored watching it, and it did make me think, and I think that's a sign of a good show. Now is the part of the video where I ask you guys to please subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the bell button, blah, blah, blah. You guys know the spiel at this point. Don't hit the bell button, because I upload videos way too often. But, yeah, subscribe. I have t-shirts. I have merch. Go buy that. And when this thing hits Apple TV Plus on March 29th, make sure to check it out.